they're going to break up here soon. And they're like, no, they've been dating for 4 years. Sure.
Sure, if you're going to be a leader, do it from day one.
I completely 100% agree with that.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Christian.
And I'm Arden. And we have a kind of an interesting one today. Obviously this is a big topic of dating. And sometimes there's a lot of articles out there, a lot of things that are just thrown out there, ideas that maybe haven't been fully thought through. They're catchy titles, they're catchy things. We want to blind react to one of these articles that are giving dating advice.
This one's pretty confident. It says 23 things you should know about dating by the time you're 23. Now, Arden and I are over the ripe age of 23. One of us is in our last year.
Wow, almost in my last year. Okay, don't move me ahead. I'm still 28, but it's very weird to me that I am almost 30. Like that doesn't feel great. But then Christian also gives me this like weird, like, oh, you're gonna be 30 next year. I'm like, Christian, you're gonna be 30 literally like 10 months after me. Like, you're right there. But she's like, I'm gonna be married to a 30-year-old. Like, that's weird.
It was a realization, not a shaming point. Aging is great. I do think the older we get, the less I associate myself based off my age. Like, I just still feel, I'm getting used to still being a parent.
Yeah.
But let's tune back to our dating days, react to this, see if it's advice that we would give or take ourselves. Okay, first one.
Or throw it out.
Or throw it out completely. Number 1, don't send long paragraph text.
And this is a blind react, so I completely 100% agree with that. I think anytime that you can move communication from not text to phone call or in-person conversation is extremely huge, because when you are married, there's probably a great chance you're not going to be having those arguments or long texts.
And if you are, maybe that's something we need to have a conversation on.
Yeah.
You're just in separate bedrooms texting that you didn't take out the trash.
Yeah. Majority of your communication is going to be in person. So you might as well start trying to figure that out right away.
I would say don't do super short texts either. Like, make sure you're having long conversations, but the priority would be FaceTime.
Just because, so much gets skewed and misunderstood within text. Like, example is I say sure on my text. And to me, I'm just like, sure. Like, and Christian thinks sure. Like, sure. Like, why? Yeah. And so she'll be like, you want to go do this? Like, yeah, you want to go on date night tonight? Sure. And she's like, no, okay, we don't have to. I was like, no.
I will say for the long there, add some length, because I'd rather have, I'd love to go to this restaurant. Not just, okay.
Sure.
Fine.
Why not?
Fine's bad. Fine's worse than sure. Don't send fine.
I don't know. For me, I interpret everyone's text as being really happy. So
I'm cynical. It's because I'm almost 30. Okay, number 2.
So we're 1 for 1. That's good. Good
What?
advice.
Yes. We should have a tally here. I'll hold the yeses. You hold the no.
Good advice.
1 yes. The next one is women should move to men more. I'm assuming move here means like make a move.
Yeah, make a move.
It gives subtitles to these. It says, even the most Neanderthal of my male friends think it's attractive.
Wow.
That's kind of me.
I think there's a balance within this. I think, yes, it's possible, but I also do feel like we're at a day and age where I think women need to know their worth a lot more. Like, and they need to be pursued. They need to understand, like, you're the prize. Like the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It does not say that about who finds a husband, which, we're great. We're great. And in a sense, we're fantastic. I think I'm fantastic. So.
Yeah, I think it's not as basic as it's set up to be. Like, can women pursue or not? It's not even to me who had the first conversation or who said the first text, but it's like, who's leading and pursuing? I think then the men should be putting in the muscle power, because if you're going to be a leader, do it from day one.
Yeah. I agree. And we're not saying that, you can't not pursue. If you're a female, you cannot pursue. We're just saying, I want to make sure you understand that you have a value to your life.
So 1 yes, and then you have 1 no. We disagree.
Yeah, I say disagree.
Interesting. It should feel easy.
It should feel easy. Yeah, that one's interesting. I mean, because that one, I mean, I think dating in the beginning definitely should feel like it's fun, it's enjoyable. You guys are getting to know each other. If it's really kind of tough, then maybe there's some evaluation.
It's also not drama or playing games. I feel like that's a good red flag.
I would agree with that.
But I feel like it should feel easy, and lighthearted, but there should be depth to it.
Yes, exactly. If
So
it's just easy and lighthearted because you guys aren't going deep,
yeah, or
then
it's so casual that you don't care.
yeah, then that's probably not going to be beneficial. So I'm going to say
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
I feel like all of our yeses have caveats.
Yes, exactly.
But that's why we have a podcast to talk about these things more. So make sure that you are subscribed. Okay, here's one. I'm seeing the second one too. That's interesting. This one says, if he wants to be with you, he would have made it happen. Hardcore yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I will say, I was talking to someone about this the other day, is if he wants to be with you, he will make it happen. Sometimes he needs time to figure that out. I think women are really good at knowing what we want, but sometimes have a hard time verbalizing it and processing it fully, where men are really good about saying what they think and feel in the moment, but sometimes later process. So a girl could be like, oh, but I just want to be with him. He's the one. I don't understand why this, and this, and this, and kind of complicate it as it's being said, where a guy takes it simply. And then maybe he could later down the road be like, oh, yeah, I really want to be with this girl. I'm going to make it happen. But just don't try to interpret or put words in his mouth. I think a lot of the single girls I talk to are like, well, but he did this and he watched my story and he said, I'll see you later. I'm like, okay, but if he wants to take you on a date, he's going to ask to take you on a date.
Yeah, I think so too. But also, like, when we're talking about the dating period, it's sometimes a guy is just nervous and they're trying to figure it out. But I do agree with this 100%. I think this is good. So
perfect.
Yeah, don't make him get it perfect.
But,
have grace within there. But then also, like, if even going past that to when you're dating and you're moving into the next step of marriage, I can't tell you how many relationships I've seen that have been together for a while, and I'll call it out to be like, they're going to break up soon. And they're like, no, they've been dating for 4 years or something like that. I'm like, no, like there's a level of commitment that they're not making it happen. And because they're not making it happen, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
they
so
say that sometimes actually to the people involved and be like, hey, are you ready to take that step and help them? Wait.
Yeah, because we've had a couple of those conversations.
Yeah. And we've had friends that have been in that boat and then later do find their person. They're like, you were right. Like, thanks for sharpening and challenging me.
Yeah, very much.
So if you want us to evaluate your relationship, please call 1-800. Just kidding. So that's what? That was a... I want to call it.
I would say yes. That's a yes.
That's a yes. Yeah. Okay, so we have 3 yeses.
3 yeses, 1 no.
Okay. This one, you just have to block them.
Like, block them in terms of...
This is like a bad ex.
I agree with that. I'll be honest with you. This has always been a struggle point for me in terms of I want to make sure that I have an impactful ability upon any person's life. Like, I want to make sure that I can always make a mark for a good reason in terms of being able to lead someone to Christ or be able to speak into their situations. But the reality of it is that you will not be able to do that for every single person. And so there is a point where you have to just say, you know what, this is not healthy. And I'm going to have to completely cut ties. And I'm going to pray for that individual. I'm going to speak into that individual's life from a distance. But I am not going to expose myself to an unhealthy relationship with someone.
Yeah.
So I am going to set up a boundary. Yeah.
That's good. Ooh, this one's really good. A lot of the time you aren't upset over them, but over who you thought they were. I would say this is a yes, especially as a female. We do, especially if you're someone that have vision, you want to see where this could go. And sometimes we fill in the blanks before we quite get to that part of evaluation. So it can feel like going on a few dates and it didn't work out, or even dating for a little bit and it not being the relationship you thought it would. Sometimes that hurts, but you have to understand it wasn't actually what happened that hurt, but it's just, I thought this could be the one. And it wasn't.
That's good. I'm going to leave that one to you. I think that was a great answer.
Ooh, this one's interesting. I'm going to tweak it a little bit, but essentially, if a guy wants to take you on a date and he hasn't set it up, or at least planned it within 48 hours, it's not happening. So if he's like, oh, I'd love to take you on a date, and it's 2 days later and he hasn't either taken you on that date or
set it up.
Like,
there's
calendar.
There's a
yeah, like I'm taking you out this Friday.
I would agree with that one. Yeah, I would agree. Just because I do think if it's going to be a priority, it's going to be a priority. Like, and that is the thing is, like I've had friends where they've talked to me and they were like, yeah, this I had a great first date. And the person was like, yeah, let's do another one. And he said, hey, like he goes and reaches out to try to reschedule. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. And I told him, I was like, hey, if they don't propose another day, it's because they're not wanting to go.
Soft out.
Like it's a soft out. And then so I think when a guy does not quickly put it on a calendar, because just being honest, from a guy's perspective, they want to go on that date. Like if they like you, they're so excited about going on the date because they just know the potential possibility there, things like that. So they do want to go on that date, or get it onto the calendar, and understanding, there's obviously other factors that could come into play, but I think if they're not making an effort within 48 hours, then it's probably a soft out that they're doing.
Well, I'm surprised how many of these we did agree with. Let us know if you agreed with them or not, and the questions that you have. Maybe we do a raw reaction to your guys' questions, but we need you to ask them, so we can do that.
And make sure you guys are subscribed, and we'll see you next time.